So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Good afternoon and welcome to the For the Love of Paul McGrath Team Sheet Tantrum on this glorious sunny day as it is in Limerick. I hope it's sunny wherever you are. I'm not on my own, but Neil is not with me today because he's otherwise engaged. He may drop on later on for a chat, but you'll be thankful to know that it's not just me here today because you know how flustered I get when I'm on my own. So I've invited a good friend of mine, Mark Holmes, all the way from Australia, otherwise known as Spud, as you can see there on your screen. Mark is a regular contributor on the Aussie Villains podcast, and if you're not following him, you're doing yourself a disservice. Get yourself out there and follow him on Twitter and follow the Aussie Villains podcast and give them a listen. Mark, how are you?
Hey, Paddy, how's things, mate?
All good?
Yeah, good, mate. Cheers for having me on. It's, as you know, it's one of my favourite segments of all the podcasts, the old Tantrum, so it's good to finally get onto it, yeah.
Good stuff. Good to have somebody on the subs bench to bring on, which is obviously what we're going to talk about a lot today, I'd say, because we've that's going to be the subject of our main comments and tantrums, I'd say, because we're of the opinion that any one of the four may end up on the bench today. The four guys who've been out for a few weeks. What do you think yourself? What way do you see it? Do you see anyone as a bolter coming into the team, or do you see just them sitting on the bench?
I'd be surprised if they started, to be honest. Because we forget, they're not just out a week; they're all out 3-4 weeks. So I'd be surprised, barring a bit of an injury or over fatigue for one of the starters. I think if they're all fit and firing, ready to go, I think I don't see any of them for them starting. Oh, you never know. Emery might see it as a needs must and think, right, with 4 games, the United game may have changed his thinking on everything, the loss. But at the moment, no, I don't see them coming in. But I do think it can change his perspective of this game a bit, though, getting the 4 of them back, because even on our own podcast during the week, we were doing a bit of a preview, and I thought Dina was going to come in from Moreno, to be honest, this week, because I thought a bit more sit back and, grind out a result. But I think now, with the players coming back, I think it kind of gives Unai a bit more of a license to actually go for the game. And you can see him possibly playing a bit more like we did against Newcastle, a bit more expansive, because he can burn the players out a little bit more because he might have a bit more on the bench. So I don't think he's trusted his bench for the last few weeks, really, has he? He doesn't see Duran or any of them as, he doesn't see Duran or them as game changers. Whereas, he might, if you can bring Kamara on there for 15-20 minutes at the end, just to control a game that you're 1 or 2-0 up and that's ideal. Or Matty Cash is a naturally fit boy too. I think it wouldn't take him long to get his match sharpness back either,
I wouldn't think so. And he's the one where you could probably throw him in to start. Of all of them, I think he's the one that you could throw him in to start, because if you find out after 45 minutes that he's not up to full fitness, we've got a probably very tired at this stage Ashley Young to come back into the fray. What do you think about how Ashley Young has done over the last few weeks?
I think if it had stayed weekly games, Ashley Young would have been absolutely fine. But it's the third time over the last 6-7 week period that we played 3 games in 7 days, and it would never have been in the plan for him to play that many games. So he's been an absolute credit for him to give the performances he has. In all fairness, he's fitter than half. That's not even a joke. But it's he's been brilliant this season, and I think nobody could have envisioned him playing as much as he did. Not even himself, but he believes in himself. I think he fully believes that he should be starting every week anyway. So I think the job is done for us. And if he's tired a little bit, we can give him that, man, because what he's given us, a lot of it, we always say he was probably the catalyst for the turnaround with that big tackle on De Bruyne. It just seemed to change everything, didn't it? So,
certainly did. Yeah, absolutely. And look, he's probably at this stage done enough to earn himself a contract next year. Obviously, we don't decide that, but he's the kind of guy who I think every dressing room needs, and we don't have anyone of that vintage, let's say. I think the eldest below him is probably Emi Martinez at 30. There's someone else at 30, I think, as well. So it's a good person to have around just to keep those young people grounded and just to pull them into line when things go astray. I know that myself from growing up in dressing rooms and seeing the elder statesmen that everyone looked up to, and just to give that little bit of professionalism to the youngsters. It's vital, isn't it?
Yeah, and history tells us that Unai Emery always has a couple of them in his team, no matter who he's managed. Maybe apart from PSG, because I don't think he had much say on players there, but every other team he's been at, he's always had a couple of real senior players, not even 30-year-olds. He's always had like 36, 37, 38, one or two of them. So he obviously sees the value in having a couple of them too, you know. You need them because, like, say if you do get to Europe and you're getting bombarded and it's 1-1 and you're away from home, like, to have an Ashley Young to come on and just take the ball and a few dirty tricks, you know, like you can't put a price on experience sometimes, like.
Exactly. Yeah, it steadies the ship to have him in there. While we have you on, we saw the news breaking during the week, and we know it's only a tentative link at the moment. But what's your opinion on our new potential director of football in Alman?
It's I think it has the potential to be huge. I mean, This is like this. It's a statement. It's a big statement as well. Like, you know, I mean, like, structure is obviously a hugely important thing. Like, you can see Chelsea, you can see PSG. They've just thrown money at things without a proper structure around it, and it doesn't work necessarily. Like, for all the mud we can throw at Man City, they have put a structure around to make everything work as well. So it's not just money that has to happen, but Man City have done a lot. Very similar pattern to what we're doing ourselves, you know, like taking sporting directors from Barcelona, people who have built clubs before. And you can get away with just throwing money at things for a season or two, but for a long term, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass eventually, you know. And I think it's very exciting. Someone that's going to know the markets that we don't understand as fans, you know, like maybe fellas who are on the brink of the first team, 19, 20-year-olds in Spain that are coming to at the end of their contracts. Like, we're not going to know that, but Emery and this guy will, you know. So I think
I don't see it as a case of that we're going to start pinching players from Barcelona or gazumping them for transfers. He's going to be there till the 30th of June, as we know. So he will oversee what their plans are for this transfer window, and then he'll walk away if things aren't done on the 30th of June. That's Barcelona's issue and not ours. So it'll be. I think it'll be great to get him in just purely on a cleverness point of view. We've obviously got a great scouting network. Obviously, they don't get everything right. Johan Lang, in fairness to him, has done okay. The jury is still out, but we're yet to see the fruits of what might come through from an underage level. You're thinking of the likes of Rory Wilson that came in under his stewardship and players like that. So the future is bright. I'm looking forward to seeing what the plans are and how this changes everything for Villa, because it's just exciting times to be alive and be a Villa fan.
Oh, it's huge, yeah. And just to touch on your point there about Barcelona, we're not going to just start hitting Barcelona for players. When you get to when you're a club like Villa coming up, man, you don't want to destroy relationships with big clubs like that. So I wouldn't think that you're going to just take their man and then start hitting them for every player in the first window. It doesn't work like that, you know. But he'll certainly have a little insight to players that are coming to contracts and who they'll be wanting to move on. So I don't think we'll see, like, I'm seeing all the Barcelona names being thrown at the moment. Ansu Fati was a big one, but they're not going to just come in and start buying all those players, like, unless it's someone that Barcelona want off their books and he knows this. But I don't think we're going to just start penny pinching their players, you know.
That's it. Well, we've brought it up to 2:00, Mark, and you know what that means. It's time for the team sheet. But before we get to the team sheet, we have even bigger news to let all the watchers, and that's why I waited until we got to this stage of the team sheet tantrum to let people know that Neil is now the proud father of a bouncing baby boy who they welcomed into the world last night. And that is why you're looking at handsome Spud on the screen and not looking at Neil. So we waited till 2:00 till we had our full fill of people in there to let people know. But Neil said he might get on before the end of the team sheet tantrum. So and just to let you know in advance, there may not be an after show after match, directly after match, but we'll see how that goes when it comes to it. So down to the important business. On the day that Prince Charles stepped up from caretaker manager to full manager of the royal family, we look to what our manager is going to do for the team sheet today. I can't put it on the screen because I don't have the wherewithal that Neil has, so I'll have to read out the team to you. So we've got Martinez in goal, Young, Konza, Mings, and Alex Moreno, Traore, Bolter, Luis, McGinn, and Ramsey, and Buendia and Watkins. So, who have we lost there? Or am I going mad? Dendoncker, yeah. So, Traore for Dendoncker. We'll probably see McGinn sitting a bit deeper. Yeah, or either McGinn sits a bit deeper, or Ramsey or McGinn and Buendia sit a bit deeper. What way do you see it? Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised Dendonker's taken out. I thought this would be a nice game to throw him in, to be honest, because Wolves is going to have a bit of a point to prove. What's the bench there, Paddy? Sorry.
Yeah, well, the bench is where the next bit of huge news comes in. So we've Olsen, Carlos, Chambers, Duran, Dean, Dendoncker, and then we have Coutinho, Bailey, and Kamara. So the one player we thought was going to come back in is the one that isn't named on it. So great to see a full complement in there, with the exception of Matty Cash. And it's basically a bench where you could pull anybody from to fulfill a lot of positions. So it's probably the best state we've been in many months. Since I suppose Coutinho started picking up those injuries, and Kamara started with his initial injury before he came back against Chelsea. So I'm fairly optimistic now. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Just to go back to your point about the system there, I think I would have thought Dendoncker would have started, but maybe no. He's kind of thinking go after it, because I don't think he trusts Traore for 90 minutes. He hasn't started enough. So maybe he sees there is a half an hour in Bailey, and if not, there's a half an hour in Kamara. I mean, you can push McGinn back out there and bring Kamara on. So that kind of says to me that Kamara or Bailey have a half an hour in them. So I think you're right, double pivot. It'd be interesting to see Buendia's role today, because he's changed a little bit of what's been asked of him lately. He's obviously playing in the same position at 10, but what he's been tasked to do has been quite different in each game. So I think he needs a big performance today, Buendia, as well, now that these lads are coming back. I think in fairness to him, he's shown a bit of faith in Buendia, considering we're all allowed to have a bad game. We're all allowed to have a bad podcast. You know, we all have a bad day at work. He didn't have a great game last weekend, but he's in there. I just have a feeling that he's absolutely going for this. I think we're going to see Traore up top with Watkins and the two boys supporting off the wing. That's how I see it. That very well could be true, because then you have Buendia tracking back there because they have a bit of threat in the wings, Wolves typically. So we'll get to them in a minute anyway, and we'll see what they have in their lineup. But I think we're all agreed that's fairly progressive, and it's looking like we're fit for battle today. So, as I said, if you look at those three players, if we can empty the bench for the last 30 minutes, because we have been tired. There's no doubting we've been tired. There's 4 games left to go, and I think this is just a shot in the arm that we need. Even for the players that are there getting tired, that threat of someone else coming off the bench can just give you yourself 10 extra % too in a game where you're tired. You can find a bit more when you know that you may not be starting next Saturday. So it's it's good. You need competition, but obviously we're very excited about the players coming back, but I think we need to give awful credit to the players that did hang in there for the last 10 games too.
Absolutely. It has been an incredible second half of the season. There's absolutely no denying, regardless of what happens today. I think they've done us proud. I think they've shown the world that we've got a decent squad in there, that we just need to add a couple of bodies to. So it's like all the signs for the future is bright. I know I said this last night on a preview, but we're going places. We're really going places. It's great to see what's going on behind the scenes, as well as what's happening on the pitch. So I'll just quickly go through the Wolves team here. So they've Semedo, Dawson, Kilman, Totti, Lamina, Neves, Nunez, Neto, Cunha, and Costa. So obviously, pardon?
Quite attacking as well.
Quite attacking as well, yeah. I did like this. This could be an end-to-end stuff game. It really could.
Yeah.
Very, very strong bench there as well. Bentley, Aitnuri, Collins, Podence, Huang, Sarabia, Moutinho, Gomez, and Adama Traore. My one fear coming off the bench of what he's going to do.
He is capable of doing anything.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in a good way.
I'm sorry if I'm neglecting your comments, guys, but I'm all over the place trying to get this. Where is that one? Oh, it won't let me show it. It will. Wolves team sounds like a list of retailers. Yeah, it's a lot of people mentioning Podence there in the comments as well. I would have Podence. I would have Podence in the Villa team. I think he's capable of anything. I think he's their best player in that part of the pitch. I also think Collins is their best central defender. So why he has chosen to leave him out, having left him out last week and they conceded 4 in the first half, to bring him on at halftime to shore things up, and then he leaves him out again. So yeah, I reckon we go for the jugular here with this one. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think as we said a while ago, with a few players coming back as well, I think that will change Emery's perspective of this game. The loss in United now, I think he feels now it's now or never, and I have players to back up. So I think we can go for it. I don't think the 6-0 against Brighton has any relevance in this game whatsoever. It's a different game. Like, they're at home. The fans are going to be demanding a response. But look, you'd rather be going into a game like this, wouldn't you, at this stage of the season? So you win this, you go back to Spurs, you take Spurs at home next week.
Yeah.
But it's vital we win today, Paddy, to be honest. If we want Europe, I think it is very, very important.
It sets a precedent going into next weekend as well. I think Spurs are there for the taking. I definitely think we can go and do a really good job on Wolves today. Just a couple of thank yous, Martin McKeever. Thank you so much for your continued support. Much appreciated. And I'm not as good as Neil as getting these other ones up here. There's one more there. Oh, can't find it. Bear with me here now 1 second. Matt Hallinan, thank you so much, Matt. Really appreciate it. And there was someone else there. Oh, Matt again. Cheers. Thank you so much, Matt. And there was one more I'm sure I saw there coming in as I was talking. And it is from James. Congratulations to Neil. An absolutely hearty congratulations to Neil. I can only imagine I'm sure he would have been really looking forward to the game today, but the game has taken an absolute backseat to what he thought today was going to be like. What do you think?
He'll be still watching it.
He'll still watch it. Yeah. I just hope. I can't remember. Was it the Newcastle game when his daughter was born and we had an absolute stinker? So I'm hoping that the new king today, as in the new king in the Dunworth house, will bring some luck, and we can get 3 points today. Stick your scores in the comments there, and we'll get to them. Really Random Reviews has obviously just joined. Neil's other half has given birth to a baby boy overnight. That's why he's not with us today. He may get in for a few minutes before the end of it, but that's why he's not here. If you want to stick in your predictions for the scores, we'll get to them there. I'm going to leave this one to you, Spud, before I give mine. What do you predict for today?
During the week, I was thinking a scrappy 1-0. It'll be a tough game, but seeing as the changes, I think getting me a bit more confident, and I'm going to go a nice, comfortable 2-0 win. I think a couple of early goals.
Sounds good to me. I'm overly optimistic here today, and I'm going to go for a 3-0 win today. So yes, I'm going to push the boat out, seeing as it's the birth of the new Dunworth today, and I'm going to put a bet on a 3-0 win, and we'll see how that goes.
Paddy, just a quick question. Molineux, do they usually get a good atmosphere going there, the home crowd, or can it be a good place to listen to watch football? Or?
Funnily enough, it's a strange ground to sit in and watch a match. Not so much on the side of the away fans, but the far stand is miles away from the pitch, and I always find that a bad thing. There's space for nearly a sprint track on the other side. It's kind of curved as well, but when the place is rocking. Now, I've only been there a few times. I've actually never seen Villa play there, believe it or not. I played there myself many moons ago, but I never actually went there with Villa. I went over in the 90s when Villa were playing on a Sunday. It was actually the day that Santa Claus came in and hit the top of the stand. The day before we went up, the day before we went up and watched Spurs play Derby, I think it was. Robbie Keane was playing for Spurs at the time, but the atmosphere that day was electric. It really was, a week before Christmas. It was fabulous. So we'll reserve judgment for today, but I think the most important noise to come out of today will be from our own fans, because we really need to get behind them today because it's a vital game.
Yeah, and Ollie Watkins will fancy his chance up against Craig Dawson. Like he's a good defender, but he's not got pace. So I think Ollie Watkins needs to target him. I think there is a backdoor in there. Hopefully Watkins can have one of his games today. I'm not one of these people who are like many saying, "Oh, he's in a bad run of form." I don't think that whatsoever. I just think that the games haven't fallen well for him. We haven't been playing particularly well, and your strikers are only good as the sport that they have. And I don't think there was much happening for him. I think if we get in the ball and start feeding him, Ollie Watkins will score goals. So hopefully we can get him involved in the game nice and early, like we did. A couple of quick through balls from Ramsey, like we did against Newcastle. Because Watkins is the kind of guy, if you can get him going in the first couple of minutes, he'll terrorise them for 90 minutes. So hopefully we get at him from the first missile, because I don't want it to be one of these games that we soak up for the half an hour, because Wolves have a sneaky set piece goal in them and stuff. So I think we just need to get at him.
Yeah,
and get Watkins.
I think a lot of that will come down to how Lopetegui is a great manager, how he decides Watkins should be marshalled. Does he actually think Nathan Collins doesn't have the pace to deal with
it's very strange.
The last couple of weeks and they were 4-0 down at halftime. I just think that's a strange decision. He's a really, really good player. And you know what? If Lopetegui doesn't fancy him, I'd be quite happy for Aston Villa to go back in and get in the running for him when the season ends. Because what a player to have as a backup. Obviously, is he an upgrade on what we have? He's an upgrade on Chambers for sure. Konza has been playing out of his skin, but absolutely, if you pick up injuries, he's a guy you want to be in there for 100%. Neil is going to drop on for a few minutes. He's just parking up his car. So I'm just going to run through the scores. Mark, you're going for a 2-0, and that what you said? I'm going for 3-0. Mm-hmm. We'll rock through these as quick as we can. Frank is going 4-1 Villa. Habs is going 3-0. Coutinho with a comeback special. That would be nice. I'd love to see him come off the bench and get a goal today. Simply just to put him in the shop window again. Matt Hanlon, 1-0 Villa. I presume that's what you're saying, Matt. Atwell is the ref. Thank God it's not versus United.
Spot on.
100%. 3-1 Villa, says Perry Stead. Spicy Pricey says the same score. Rob Henry is going 3-1 as well. A lot of people on the 3-1. Martin Ryan is going 2-0 Mings and Watkins. Michael Parsons is going 2-1 Villa. Jordi Villan is going 2-0 Villa. Standing on the word with a 2-2 draw. I really hope not. We need 3 points today. We absolutely need 3 points today. Cut that one off. I did. 2-0, says David Miller. Watkins and Coutinho. Absolutely. I'll take that all day long. I'll take a 1-0 hitting off someone. John McGinn's arse at this stage. Tom Ryan says 2-0 Villa. Villa 1982 says 3-0 Watkins, Luis and Ramsey. Sorry, this one got me really sidetracked. So Neil finally got a shot on target. Well played, Richard. Hopefully he'll be on himself now in a couple of minutes. You can let him know. There's a couple more in there. Jared Dunleavy wants to say, up the Rebels, Mark.
That's it, lad.
2-0 McGinn and Mings. Mike Kane 4-0. 2 goals from Marino. I've been backing Marino over the last few weeks for the first goal scorer. So
I've been backing Tyrone Mings every week, and the 1 week I didn't back him. He got his first goal scorer. I backed him tonight. He was playing 46-1 tonight to be the first scorer, so I was like, I had to back that.
I know you're saying tonight there, but just for clarity for those that just come on, tell us what time it is in the world where you are.
Well, we're 7 hours ahead of you, so 9:15 here now. So
9:15 in Western Australia. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. If you're watching from anywhere obscure in the world, do jump in there and let us know. We see the Brazilian lines are in there. Isn't it great to say that we need 3 points for the European push and not the relegation battle? That is exactly how I feel about today. It's absolutely magic that we're talking about Europe and not worrying about what's going on below us. Just play our game, play each game as a cup final, and really, really hope that we can push on into Europe. If we don't get it, we'll get there eventually with this man. I'm 100% sure.
We're doing what the big clubs do, going in thinking about Europe with 4 games to go and still in that conversation. And that's where we need to be every season from now on,
100%. Habs is watching from Small Heath. Fair play to you, Habs. Be careful out there. Martin McKeever, as always, is 1:15 in New Zealand, so he's a good bit ahead of you. He's on the far side of Australia and onto New Zealand. Jamie is in Cyprus. Bertie is in Lisbon, and Neil is dialing in from. Where are you, Neil? You've no sound.
No sound.
No, you do.
You do.
I'm after getting cribs and stuff like that have to be transported because our house is still a building site. Have to be transported out somewhere. So don't make it easy on myself anyway, that's for sure. But
no, absolutely not.
Congratulations, Neil.
Thanks very much, Mark, and thanks a million for hopping in at short notice.
My pleasure, mate. My pleasure.
I won't stay on for long because I've got to run away again. I got to get back in, but I was listening to your dad saying, or I was listening to the team that Villa have, and I was listening to your synopsis of it there. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win as well. Like you said, Mark, I think 2-0 seems like a fair result. There's a good Wolves team out. The Wolves bench is fantastic. That is like both benches. I think are really really decent. Paddy, you were saying you were kind of worried about Traore coming off the bench, but Pablo Sarabia coming off the bench for them. That's somebody Lopetegui brought in to really try and pull the strings. When he first came in, he did. He hasn't really done it. So since he's I suppose since about 3 or 4 games into his Wolves career, but fantastic player. Obviously played with PSG. But Villa have to win today. It's as simple as that. As I heard some people talking about 2-2 draws, and it very may well happen. As I say, Villa might go out there and it might all run down their leg today. But it's a case whereby we have to win if we're serious about Europe. Lose today, and we're definitely not getting 7th place.
Absolutely,
yeah, great.
An absolute must. Tell us how much sleep you got, Neil.
I'm awake since 5:45 on Friday morning.
Kind of similar to the weekend you went over for the game, so of the
more or less, yeah. More or less, it was great practice. So I haven't slept since, but all for good cause. And he's hale and hearty little fella, and he's healthy, and he's a fair beta of a child when he came out. He was some size, so that bodes well. That bodes well for the future. And if he kicked me in the face this morning, and I'll tell you something, he's definitely right-footed anyway, that's for sure. Definitely right-footed.
Hopefully both-footed, Neil, and we'll have a little future magician. The Perlo role, is that what you used to play?
I used to play Figo role. The
Figo role. Or does that change all the time?
There's a massive story behind the Figo role. There is a story behind it, all right. But it's a fun one. And thanks so much to everybody in the comments there saying congratulations. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. But as I say, contrary to popular belief, we didn't call him Unai. We didn't call him Unai. I couldn't quite get that one over the line.
Boubacar was the second good choice. Fair play.
Yeah, in fairness, she went with Boubacar, so it was fine. Yeah, Boubacar was fine.
I was just very disappointed, Neil, because as you know, my 2 kids are named after previous Aston Villa players. Spud called his son Ollie just a few short weeks ago, and you let the side down.
My surname is so weird that you kind of have to either go for really really short names or alliteration. So we went with Dara. It goes well with the surname. So yeah, as I say, you know what he'll do? He'll make other people name their kids after him. That's what he's gonna do. That's what he's gonna do.
That's the way.
Dara Dunworth and Ollie Holmes up front in about 25 years.
They'll be calling him Daradana. That's what they'll be calling him when he's older. Lads, I got to run away again. I got to jump out again here because I've got a strict timeline to be back in before visiting time is over. So listen, thanks a million for keeping the show on the road, Paddy, and also to Mark as well, and to everybody. I hope we'll win today. I don't know if I'm going to get to see it, but as I say, maybe that could be a good thing because Paddy, I think you were mentioning about when my daughter Erin was born, that we played West Ham afterwards, and that's the infamous game where Ashley Young came on central midfield and Ben Johnson scored and Declan Rice scored, and they were all from outside the box. And it was just a turgid game, and we played rubbish. So hopefully, there's nothing like that today against Wolves. But I'm going to jump off there, lads.
We'll start that tonight, Neil. You and I, the
exactly. Hopefully, so
that won't happen.
Hopefully, so.
Well, Neil, you go and enjoy every moment, and thanks a million for dropping in. And regards to the whole family, and look after everybody there. There's more important things, and we'll see you. We'll talk about it over the next few days. We'll get to come on and talk about the game when you eventually get a chance to see you.
Exactly. Right. All the best, lads, and up the
Villa. Now, this is a longer team sheet tantrum than usual, Mark, and I'm very surprised. And thanks so much for helping us out with this one. What I would like you to do is, before you go, is just to tell people how they can get on and watch the Aussie Villains podcast and get in touch with yourself.
Yeah. Cheers, Paddy. So we're part of the Love Sport Network in Australia. So we're the Aussie Villains podcast. So you can follow us at Aussie Villains, capital A, capital V. So basically, we're 4 Australian-based Villa fans. The 3 lads I do it with, they're just fantastic guys. I couldn't speak more highly of them. We've got Tess, who's from the UK, he's a Londoner, massive Villa fan. We've got Rhino, who's from Wales, again, massive Villa fan. And then we've got Paul, the host, who's our Aussie. And the lads are fantastic, and I love doing the podcast with them. We're all in different parts of Australia too, so it's really interesting. And basically, we met at the Villa Leeds game in Brisbane, and I had done one episode with Paul before. He just asked me to come on and speak, and I was at a table, and next minute I recognised the voice, and I was like, "Are you Paul?" And he was like, "Oh, you Mark Holmes? You were on my pod a couple of weeks ago." And Paul was just doing it on his own, kind of on off at that stage. And then there was 2 other lads at the table, which was Tess and Rhino, again, just at the game. And we all just got talking at the table, and we decided Paul just said, "Look, lads, will you come on the pod in a regular and give it a go?" And ever since, it's taken off, and it's been fantastic. So if you want to just follow me on Twitter, it's at Spud4685. And through my Twitter, you'll see the links to all the lads and all the links to the podcast. So you'll find us on the Love Sport Network podcast in Australia. And we'd love your support, lads, because we do all the same as you. You get a perspective. All I can explain, following Aston Villa in Australia is basically like having a newborn child every season for 38 weeks, because the random times you get up, sometimes you're dealing with a bit of poo, I'll be honest, when you're watching the games under Gerrard, etc. But after a while it grows and it starts to get fantastic, like we're seeing now at the moment. So yeah, we love it, and we'd love your support. And thanks again to Paddy for giving me the chance to plug,
And thanks a million for having. Look, it's a great little network we have of people who podcast and have shows and videos and whatever they do about the Villa. They're all vital content for everybody. It's great to listen to your podcast and listen to all the different voices and all the passion from all over the world. And that's what being a Villa fan is all about. So thanks for the content, and thanks to all the guys. Wish them all well from me. We hope everybody has a great Saturday. Here's hoping for 3 points, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.